Hey, so if you're anything like me, I get easily frustrated by math that's not laid out in a way that's really helpful to students. And one of the things that I'd hope to do with this particular activity is to show how easy it can be to have ChatGPT generate some latex and then to render the latex in Overleaf and then make it accessible to students through a PDF. So this is an example of a unit outline I made with ChatGPT for an Algebra 2 unit on factoring. There's nothing fancy or special about this particular outline. And as you scroll through, you can see that it's laid out for 12 lessons and that there's a pre-assessment blueprint. And you'll notice that in the pre-assessment blueprint, some of the rendering isn't as attractive as I might like it to be. And so that's really the motivation for what we're going to work on today. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and close out that unit, and I'm going to upload it real quick. And the reason I'm going to upload it is I'm going to ask ChatGPT to help me build a glossary from it. So I'm going to say, I am a math teacher teaching Algebra 2 to high school students. I want to generate a vocabulary list that contains, terms, definitions, and examples to help students understand the context of the term. So please review this document to find terms that should be on the list. So let's just start with that. Let's get our list of terms. So what the LLM is doing is it's going through that document, it's looking for terms that are unique to the unit, and it's giving me the term, the definition, and the example. And we can see here how they're written out that they're quite pretty. And that's valuable because I think it makes it more accessible to students when it's laid out in a pretty way. Now, in this case, reading the columns across, that might be difficult to print over time, but it does take up a little less space. There are other ways we could choose to format this potentially. We can start with this, and I'm going to give GPT some feedback. I like this list. I would like to copy and paste as latex for Overleaf. So what it's going to do now is it's going to go through and do the latex rendering of the math for me. And it's giving me a copy-paste document, which is dynamite. And I just have to wait for it to load. It's now loaded. I'm going to click copy. And then I'm going to go ahead and load up Overleaf. So Overleaf is free. There's a basic account to get started. I'm going to create a new project. And I'm going to make a blank project. And I'm going to call it Algebra 2 Factor Vocab. And it's going to create a document here. And I'm going to go ahead and take that text and delete it and paste in my new text. And then I'm going to recompile. And when I recompile, it'll take that text and render it for me. Let's see if I missed something in my copy and paste. So that didn't work the way I had hoped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the error, and this happens. I'm going to give it back to ChatGPT. And often when things are structured as tables or it gets more complicated, sometimes that pops up. Yeah, it's the table. So I'm going to ask to make it vertical without the tables and see if we can get it to format a little bit better. And sometimes troubleshooting is just a part of the whole experience. So let's see if we do better this time. And we do. There we go. This is a beautiful rendered document with definitions, examples. So we can see here, however, it looks like our definition is missing. The term, rather, is missing. So let's go back into GPT. We'll iterate one more time. The term appears to be missing in the document. Can you correct and revise? And that happens. And I can see here polynomial, monomial, binomial, trinomial. It looks like it's going to work better this time. And recompile. And we can see here that we've got our terms listed and our examples. This is great. I think this will be really helpful for students. So there you have it. It took a couple of tries, but it's laid out nicely. There's a nice slide and divide example, and we could even, make this a little clearer if we wanted. We could ask to break, for example, the slide and divide into more steps. And let's see if it's able to revise that for us. And here I'm going to ask to integrate it back into the whole document. Oh, this looks much better. And it looked nice to begin with. These are just little tweaks to try to just, make it as easy on the students as possible. Recompile. And there we go. That slide and divide is much nicer. And in this case, we can see that it's broken across a line. So we might want to ask it to insert a page break right before the slide and divide so that the slide and divide is all on one page. And we're just going to ask it to answer in the chat. The Canvas can sometimes get tricky for this. And one of the nice things about this is an iterative process. You can tweak it to get it just the way you want, with just the words that you want. So I think we're on the 4th or 5th version, but it hasn't taken that long. It certainly would have taken longer to have done it all out by hand. So I like this. The slide and divide now is all on one page. This is great. I'm feeling pretty good about it. So I'm going to go ahead and download it right now as a PDF. And then I can go into my downloads, and then there's a PDF that I can share with students. I can email it, I can print it. But it's an example of rendering a LaTeX document relatively easily using the LLM to do most of the hard work, starting with the document that I created for lesson planning. I hope you find this helpful. Thanks and take care.